So in this tutorial, I want to show you guys how to bring in video into your Flash projects via Actionscript. Now we could use a video component, but those tend to be real heavy and not a lot of file size to your projects. So to begin, I'm going to create a new Flash file, and we're going to go ahead and save this in the same directory as our video. You'll see that I have a Grand Canyon.flv. I'm going to call this Flash video. And in my library, I want to create a video object to pull in that Grand Canyon video and display that to my user. So I'm going to open up my library, and I'm going to right-click inside my library and create a new video object. You'll see that we have two different types. We want to use video with Actionscript controlled. I'm going to give this a name of my video. And click OK. You'll see now that you have a video object inside your library. I want to drag and drop this onto my stage. And I'm going to give it an instance name of my video. I'm going to change the width and height to 480 and 320, which is the dimensions of my Grand Canyon FLV file. Let's just center this right here. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm going to go ahead and rename this layer to video and create an actions layer, and let's get scripting here. Actions. So the first thing we need to do is understand how video is coming into our project. There are two objects that we need. One's called a net connection, and the other one's called a net stream. The net connection is in charge of finding where that video is, whether it be streaming off an FLV server, a Flash Media server, or coming directly within our directories and progressively downloading into our project. Then we need a net stream to look for the video that we want to play via the net connection. So I'm going to create two variables here. My connection, and it's going to be data typed as a net connection. I'm going to instantiate it here. And I'm going to create my variable for my stream. My stream. Stream. Now instead of instantiating it here, what I need to do is first connect this my connection object to my delivery method and then pass that information to my stream. So I'm not going to instantiate it here just yet. Now that I got my connection, let's go ahead and connect this to our delivery method. Connection.connect. Now inside this parentheses, if we had a Flash Media server, this is where I'm going to put my RTMP. Now if you're not familiar with Flash Media server, RTMP is just a protocol to connect to your streaming server to pass in the data. Now since I don't have a media server configured, I just want to go ahead and pull in the video from the directories. In this case, null is going to be my reference here. Then I'll pass this connection information to my stream. My stream is equal to new net stream, and pass in my connection. Now that we have this configured, what we want to do is attach this stream to the video and play the video that I want to show to my users in my directories. First off, my video dot attach net stream. Which one? My stream. And we'll bring in the video. My stream dot play, and in quotes here, Grand Canyon .flv. I'm going to save this and test it, and you see my video play on that video object. Now you'll also notice that we have this error here. What this is just telling us is that there's metadata, video height, video width, if there's any cue points. Basically there's information inside this video that we're not utilizing from Flash, and we need to actually address this before we can actually deliver it to our users. So we're going to get rid of this error by creating a metadata object to hold that information. So back in my code, what I need to do is create a generic object that will hold all this metadata from the video. Variable, I'm going to just call this meta info, and I'll data type this as a generic object. Now this can be a little tricky here, so what we need to do is assign this object to an onMetadata function that will address all the metadata from the video. Now it sounds a little confusing, I know, but this is how we do it. Meta info, our object, dot on metadata is equal to on metadata. Now that we have this, we need to create a function to pull in all that meta information and do something with it. So function on metadata void open curly brace, returns close curly brace, and in this parentheses I'm going to create a parameter to pass in all that meta information. Info. It's going to be data typed as a generic object again. So now that I have this meta information object, I need to attach this to the stream so that I can pass that information into this function and I can pull in all that data. Again, the width, height, time, anything that's associated with the video. My stream dot client is equal to meta info. Just double check this real quick. Yep, looks pretty good. Let's go and test this. And you'll notice that error in our output panel is no longer there. Now you're probably wondering, okay, I saw how you created that on metadata function. What could I use for it? Well, let me show you the different types of information that you can pull in from that metadata. So returning back to my code here, I'm just going to create a for loop here. For every variable, every property, in info, I want to trace it. So what this is essentially going to do is look for every property inside this info object and trace it out in my output panel. I'm going to save this and test it. And you'll see here in my output panel I have all these different types of metadata that I can use. So you'll see frame rate, width, height, duration. All this can be used to create my video controls if I wanted to. So if you want to go ahead and add a play button and have a little scrub bar with the duration, you can use that meta information to go ahead and do that for your video. So it doesn't have to be statically created. It can be pulled in from the video itself and then create your controls. So this by no means is a complete project, but this will get you in the right spot. Again, just go through it real quick here. You need to create two objects. One's a net connection, another's a net stream. This is in charge of determining where that video information is coming from, whether it's going to be from streaming from a flash media server or from your directories, and it's going to be in charge of pulling the video that we want to play. Then we connect it here to null. This will be for my directories, and I'll assign that connection to my stream, attach that stream to my video object here on my stage, and then play the video. Then we created an object here that's going to control the metadata coming in from that video. Meta info on metadata equals metadata, which is controlled with this function down here. That's basically looping for all properties inside that meta information. So experiment with this. You can create your own video players if you like, but this will get you in the right direction.